Alright, time today for another upgrade. This one is going to be exciting, yes. So we are going to take it to the drivetrain, yes.
And take a look at our transfer keys. No, not that one. Yeah, that one.
Okay, so right here we've got ourselves a good old XJ with a four-wheel drive option. This is our NP231 transfer case. This is the business that makes your all four wheels spin. Front shaft and a rear shaft, yes. Double the shafts for double the pleasure. So, I gotta pull this case in order to do a bearing, and if you want to see that really bastard bearing, watch till the next video. But, we are going to do some upgrades while we're in here. So, this already has an SYE, so there's no more slip yoke drive shaft. So that is the first upgrade to do to these things. The SYE main shafts are a lot thicker in important areas, and without a slip yoke, they're a lot stronger. So that is upgrade the first. Upgrade the second is just some junkyard pulling, kind of for fun. So this is a chain-driven transfer case, and this was used in many different vehicles, such as, you know, Chevys and Dodges and other vehicles, stuff like that. Not just Jeeps. And some of those transfer cases had some upgrades that the Jeeps did not get. Like, for instance, there's a wide chain available for these. So on the Jeeps it's 1 inch, and on some Chevys and Dodges they're 1 1/4 inch. So we are going to upgrade the chain to a wide chain kit, since this has probably still got the stock chain in there. So that requires a new chain and sprockets to go with it. And while we're in there, if you've ever heard about the planetary upgrade, the Jeeps only have a 3 planetary 4-low thinger, which makes the gear ratio reduction. There were some Chevys with 4 pinion, and some, I think, higher end Dodges with 6. That might be a 241 case. I'm not totally sure. You'll see all that later. But we're going to tear this thing apart, and we're going to put some big stuff in there. Simple, eh? Enough talking. So, how do we get the damn thing out of here? Well, first we have to pull the drive shafts. We will have to remove the shifting linkage. Really just the flag over here. Just pop that guy out. And then there will be 6 nuts that hold the transfer case to the transmission. One of them is hiding underneath of the damn transmission mount, so that's fun. I really don't like taking off this cross member. But yeah, 6 nuts, and then that comes out. The weight of this is about, I think, 70 pounds, something like that. Yeah, you could probably, you know, pull it on your chest, but if you're wimpy and you like your ribs, then it might be worth, you know, trying a transmission jack or something like that, just to save yourself a little, you know, pain. Oh, I'm gonna get so fucking dirty. Well, better late than never. Let's pull the e-brake and start taking shafts off. Make sure to chock a wheel so your Jeep doesn't roll away. Okay, step 1. Drive shafts are removed. Ugh. I'm being lazy and just have this one sitting out of the way. So, there you go. With these Atom shafts, they have those little 12 points that are great, because you can use one of them little gear wrenches to take them out. Oh man, it makes the job 3 times faster. When you can get a gear wrench, oh my lord, doing that by hand is just, it sucks. So, alright, sensor. So the older ones are going to have a vacuum line, the newer ones have an electric. I switched mine to an electric switch just because fuck vacuum. That's just your 4-wheel drive light. The other thing is going to be your speedometer sensor. So that one's got that little C-clip thing there. You take the one bolt off, and I think you take that nut off as well. Actually, no. We can just remove the speedometer cable. We don't have to do the clip and the gear and all that crap. That can stay for now. It'll probably have to come out later anyway, but whatever. The linkage just popped out. Just use a pry bar and just pop it out. Little WD-40 never hurt. But yeah, we kind of just got to drain the fluid and start working around those nuts. These are big. It's a 30 millimeter. Have fun. Bottom bolt's the drain. So now a ton came out. Isn't that beautiful? Rather dark. Definitely probably could have used a change. So, yeah. So that came right off. That was actually only finger tight. I don't know what was going on with that, but I put a wrench on it, just came right out. So yeah, that's easy. So the rest of it is still in there, as you can see. So now we've got a filler, like a breather hose up there, that guy. For mine, I just have a hose clamp, so I can just undo that. And then we got the main prize, the nuts. So you can see one right there in that little pocket. You're gonna have two, I think, above. There's 6 total, so, you know, they're somewhere up there. Okay, time for an update. So I got the bullshit cross member out of the way. So that is dropped. We have the transmission supported by this transmission jack. If you've ever seen one of these, the top swivels. It's got 2 different pegs on there, so you can swivel the top. It doesn't have to be a transmission jack, especially considering we're not taking the transmission out, but it helps. So the cross member is off so that we could take the transmission mount off, which is here. It's 2 giant 18mm bolts. The monster washers that I put on there to support the mount better seem to work. It's not cracked, not like the old one, so cool. Seems to be working. But anyway, once this base plate thing moves out of the way, then we can see our nut. That's what we're after. No, not that one, the other one. Over here. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. So that right there is one of the 6. And it's the tricky bastard. Okay, so now we start loosening them. And if we need to, we can lower the transmission a little bit to get to the top ones. Oh man, fuck this thing. Okay, so remember how I said there were 6 and I couldn't find out where the fuck the last one was? I found it! I don't even know if I can get you in there, man. Okay, right here. We're gonna go up a little higher. There. See that? Right there. Between this fucking thing and that fucking thing, there's no room. And the exhaust is here and the floor is here. So, it's like, it's fucking hell. Just trying to have enough space to get the wrench to fucking click back and forth. Just one click. One click. Fuck off. Oh my god. And I can't lower it enough to get under the exhaust. The easier part would be if you could get the exhaust off. Yeah, you'd have a lot more room. But fucking hell. Okay, so now all 6 nuts have been off. Transfer case is free. So now if we manhandle it properly, we should be able to get it on the ground. Okay, yeah, so there you go. Transfer case is out. You can see the 6 studs that it sits on, and all you gotta do is wiggle it. It's not really stuck in there too difficult. That jack stand right there is crucial. Obviously, a lot of the weight is going to be on the heavier part of the center. So I had that one up most of the way, so that way, once I got it out, I was able to come down and rest on that, because that was where all the weight was. That didn't do shit, because the yoke's a lot higher. If anything, it would have been nicer if that was lower and maybe farther out, so I could kind of staircase it down. I had to do some funky stuff to just kind of lay it down. Like, you can pick it up, but, you know, when you're under here by yourself and you're trying to do everything, it's... no, I'm not trying to get punctured by one of those fucking things. No thanks. So take it easy. If you got a buddy or a spare transmission jack, that'd be a hell of a lot better. I'm going to switch that around and use this to put it back in. That's for damn sure. Because fuck all that in a big ship. Okay, but it's out. So that's part 1. Now I get to clean and disassemble. Oh man, we just got ourselves a box, boys. So Mr. Duke from Powertrain Parts got back to me on eBay about a really cool kit I was interested in. Check it out. This right here. This is the good stuff. Can you figure it out yet? I was gonna go on a wild goose chase to try to find me some parts because I didn't feel like paying $550 from JB Conversions. So we got ourselves some upgrades. So first on the list, if you've ever heard about beefing up an NP231, I'm sure you've heard about things like this before. We have ourselves a wide chain kit upgrade. So we are going from a 1-inch chain to a 1¼ inch chain, which was available on, I think, some like Chevy and Dodge transfer cases. And we also have a 6-pinion planetary upgrade as well. So this one has twice as many pinions as our stock one. There were some Chevy like NP231C cases that had a 4-pinion design. That was on Chevys. The Jeep only has 3. And then some heavy-duty Dodge ones had 6. Now, I don't know exactly how you find them. You know exactly what models to look for, what has what and what don't. But, yeah. You either pay a lot of money, you try hunting lots of junkyards, and the thing that sucks is if you want to get to that guy, you got to pull a case, I think. But yeah, eBay, $185 for everything you see here. The entire wide chain upgrade kit. That's both the sprockets and the chain. Look at that, huh? Gorgeous. I believe these are used. I'm not entirely sure. But, I mean, it's what you'd find in a junkyard, and this is confirmed to work, you know. This guy's been selling it. He's done all the research, so... Look at that, huh? Even comes with a used star washer. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so this is used, but I'm A-okay with that. I don't care. It's a frickin' old-ass Jeep. The chain, I'm not sure if the chain is new or not. That would be the only thing that I'd care about. On the eBay deal, it said that this was on sale, usually like 200 and something, but he had it down to 185. I don't know how often that deal runs, but oh man, I'm excited. This is cool. I'm gonna unbox the rest. Okay, so here's everything that comes in the kit. He's got a couple different things. The only thing you have to mention is what year your transfer case is. So there is a split at the 94.5 year range, I think, or something. And that has to do with the way that these pinion gears are cut. So the older ones look one way and the newer ones look another way, and they are not cross-compatible. They have different cuts and they won't fit, or they won't ride right, or it's not going to be good. So you need to get the proper 6-pinion design for your year. But I believe all this stuff is interchangeable. The only thing with this, okay, so this is a wide chain kit. It's 1¼ inches, so it's a little thicker. And this looks like a new chain. This is really nice. Wrapped up really, really beautiful. Looks all oiled, ready to go. So I'm really excited about that. But this kit right here, because it's wider, we will have to leave out our bronze synchro-ring. So everything will fit properly. And if you want to keep your ring, you have to talk to him so he can include some other adapter part so that it'll work, but that's extra. From what he said, and from what I've been doing a little reading on, the synchro-ring was only for the older models that had the central axle disconnect. So that would mean that if your central axle disconnect was off and your front drive shaft was actually not spinning, the front and the rear aren't, you know, spinning at the same speed, so they're out of sync. So that bronze ring, I guess, was needed to help resync things when everything locks. Well, I deleted my central axle disconnect, so I don't really, that's not a problem for me. The front drive shaft always spins with the rear, so they should be in sync. If you do have the CAD set up and it works and it's functional, I guess talk to him and see what he can provide. But yeah, so we've got each one of these is a pinion gear. This one has all 6 of them installed, where the one in our transfer case only has 3, and like I said, some of the Chevys have 4. But you need this guy and this guy for the wide chain to sit on. So that's pretty much it for the beefy upgrade kit. This, along with an SYE, makes the strongest NP231 you can, you know, build. So yeah, I guess it's time to tear it apart. So we got to start digging into the case. So if I recall, this is a 1 1/8 inch nut, so we'll get our big old impact. Ooga dooga this off and that off. So that way we can see where the snap rings are and all that crap. Alright, this little Milwaukee right here, this fuel, kicking ass. 1 1/8 inch. It might have been a little smaller than that. I'm not sure if it's a metric or what. Probably, considering all the other stuff is, but whatever. It took it off. just rattle them bones until the nut comes out, and you can just pull the yoke. If the yoke doesn't come, you can just tap it with a hammer a little bit. But yeah, yokes are off. So I think next we're gonna have to take off this this tail housing cover, and I'll probably have to pull the speedo gear. So once this comes off, we should be able to get to any snap rings needed to maybe free up the oil pump and then split the entire case. Okay, so that's what's inside that.
It's no bumblebee. What's he doing, bud?
Anyway, so this is what that is. You got this little collar that holds this down, and you get the bolt. Comes out. You got an O-ring that you got to break free, and then the gear will come out. The gear separates quite easily. So this is the long gear. This is a 37 tooth. If your tires, you know, if your speedometer doesn't match anymore, this is the thing that you change to fix your speedometer so it reads properly. Charts online, you can see your tire size versus your gear ratio to see what tooth you need so your speedometer reads. There's a couple different pockets in here, and each one is labeled a different amount of gears. Because if you notice, this is offset, so you rotate this until the gear meshes properly with the output. So yeah. Just remember the teeth and the way that they went on. Mine's sturdy enough I can tell which ones were used and which ones weren't. Anyway, now that that's off, we can take this outer cover. This is just a pushy in-outy sensor, so I don't think I'll have to remove that. But we'll just take off these outsides, give it a little tappy tap. I know mine was RTV'd, so we'll have to break the seal. Did you say seal? Or? Okay, so I zipped all those bolts out. They must have had some kind of thread lock on it. They were in there pretty good. Had to break them all by hand, and then I could zip them out. So, separating the tail housing from the rest of it, you know, just trying to figure out what's going on. I guess we got these nubs over here for prying. There's not a whole lot of area to be able to do what we need. So the best thing I could do is you find two pry bars, and you put them side by side like this, so it fills the gap, because it's pretty thick. And then you pull on them both, and it kind of, you know, helps to break it. I actually did get the top to break free doing that, so I guess we're going to see if we can do the same thing on this side to crack the rest of it, and then we should be able to just pull it off. Okay, so next we got to go all the way around the case, get all those bolts off. Those are all 15 millimeters, even this nut, but it's a 10 millimeter 12 point on the top with that bracket. Not sure why, but it is. So yeah, they all come out. The washers were on opposite ends, so this one had a washer, and the one down there had a washer. All the rest of them were just bolts. I have no idea why. Somewhere around here are pry points. I forget where. It might be where the washers are located is where the pry points are, but there should be sections like there, I think, where you can get a flathead in there carefully to try to help break the case free. So that's what's next. Okay, so here we are. Lovely. Had to take a wire brush to try to clean up the, you know, all the mating surface just so I could see where the damn split was. And the only thing to really work for splitting the case was a nice, fat flathead. It was the only thing I could find. All these pry bars and shit, I couldn't get them to fit anywhere. So get the fattest motherfucker you can, hammer it in there, and then try to crank on it and see if you can start getting a split. And eventually you'll kind of, you know, be careful with it. This is a delicate housing. If you beat the shit out of it, you're going to crack it. Try beating it with a dead blow, but it doesn't do fuck all. Alright, time to play with the shaft. Yes. We've got two snap rings for this SYE kit. We got one here that holds the speedo collar thing on, and then one underneath that so we can actually get the pump out and all that crap. So, in order to do that, you will need one of these guys. These, I think this is a pair of duck nose or duckbill snap ring pliers. You want a good pair of these. You don't want some frickin', you know, Chinese junk that's going to snap on you. You need something that's serious. So you notice this one's got them little perforated edges or whatever, the serrated, whatever the hell it's called. It's got a little nub on there and everything, so you can actually get a good grip on them. So once you finally open it up, I just like to use a flathead to work around and pop it over, because they're a pain in the ass. Just watch, you know, don't, you know, muck around too bad and hit yourself in the face with them or something. That'd probably not feel good. But anyway, when it all comes out, it'll look something like that. This might be slightly different for your stock shaft, I don't know. I think I got an old video on when I did this originally, so you could check that out too if you want. So, we'll take that off, and then let's see if we can take this case off. And just like that, it's apart. Lovely. So if you take it apart that way, you can take the oil pump and the, you know, the pickup tube and this entire case out at the same time. That's a-okay. So we're gonna have to either clean that or replace this little pickup filter thing. On the other side, we've got a magnet, and that's looking just downright gorgeous, is it not? We'll have to fish that out and see just how much smooth that thing caught. But I noticed there's some thick chunks of broken something in the on that magnet. So it's definitely doing a good job. It caught something. Also, check this chain out, eh? Holy crap, yo. Think it was time for a replacement? I mean, obviously it's not fair. It's not under complete tension. Both of these are going to be separated more, but still, even when I try to hold them apart, that's a floppy boy. So, yeah. Besides that, I don't know what else is going on. So, if I recall, I think both of these just pull out. So, you can just pick this whole assembly and take it out. So that should be fun. Try to remember where everything goes. But otherwise, yeah, so we got the this whole section out. I know on the first rebuild, this was all over the place, this snap ring. It's still in there, so that's good news. This gigantic snap ring around the outside, and these little clippies. Teeth not as chewed up as they were the first time I took them out, so that's cool. So I think this is the gold ring that's going to get removed so that we can fit our fatter finger dinger. I guess I could go get them and show you the difference now that we're in there. But the rest of this stuff, yeah, this is just a giant assembly. So we got a collar here. I like that the little plastic shoes just kind of float in the breeze, but whatever. So this whole assembly will come out. And then this is the 4 low bar. So this arm might look a little different than what you're used to. I know I had to buy an entire replacement arm for some reason. I don't exactly recall why. But there you go. Damn, that looks a little chewed up. Yeah, you really shouldn't shift 4 low on the fly. It doesn't end well. Yum. Just a little schmoo in there too. And down here is your pinion. So I think that's locked in there through something. But if you notice, yeah, see, this is only a three pinion design. So we'll be replacing it with twice as many gears. Twice more better, right? So if I recall, we flip this over, and I think we unbolt that assembly. And then some things should start happening. I forget if there's a snap ring behind that, which I think there is. But we'll get into that. That's the only part I actually didn't touch during the previous rebuild. So isn't that lovely? Alright. So here we have the two side by side. Ain't that pretty, huh? What a beaut. Who knew a 1/4 inch could make such a big difference? So yeah, with the lighter chain and all that business, I think we're going to have a bit more fun. Cool. Okay, so now we got our workbench properly set up. We're going to see if we can get to the final prize. So, here we have the back case of whatever the hell this is. Got a pry point here, and some wonderful RTV. So I guess I'm going to try to pry this off, and there should be a clip in there so that we can take, I guess, this input thinger out and then get to the 4 low stuff. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so here's the back. You can see there's an oil channel, and the rest is just kind of chilling. So for me, this pink line is facing like up, kinda. So we'll remember that when we reinstall it. So we got a giant input bearing here. Still looks tight as can be. No wiggle at all. And there's our C-clip, or ring clip, or whatever the hell. So we're going to pop that, and then she should come free. Okay, so there's that monster C-clip. Thing's super thick. Interesting technique. Instead of going like this, go like this. Might help. Anyway, that's what that looks like. I definitely had to tap it. That's not going to fall right out. You still got to give her while she's in there. So, yeah, there's our 3-pinion design. So now we got to figure out how to get the center out of the middle. Looks like it's this big outer clip here. Okay, so that's what we're suffering for right there. Mo pinion, mo better. So you can kind of see the, I guess the rounded cut of the old style gears. So I'm assuming that the new ones are much sharper. So yeah, if you're looking for these in the junkyard, I think that these are in 241s. Don't quote me. Look it up, do your own research, but you gotta make sure you got the right got the right year, because the teeth are different. Cool. So yeah, I guess we take out the clip and swap things. Looks like there was some kind of thrust washer assembly included. Cool. So it's very nice. Makes assembly a lot quicker. And just for you guys that are curious, this is what the inside of this looks like. Got a gigantic clip in there. And a big old thing. Gears and stuff. Neat. That's all that's about. For low. So that was actually rather easy. Just use a flat head. And all you're doing is sitting here and you pry, come in here and you pry this out, and then you just get under it and then literally just work your way around and it'll come right out. So this is what you get in the package. We got a big metal lock ring, and on either side is a thrust washer. So there you go. There's your main input. There's your main input gear. So if you ever have to swap inputs, if you do a transmission swap or anything, well, there you go. There's even a bearing in there. It's neat. See, this one's cracked. But yeah. So now we just take this one apart. We're gonna put the new sleeves in there. Put it back together. Easy. Okay, there you have it. All back together. That was really easy. This was able to be done by hand. You slide the one side in and then you kind of push it and work it away, and eventually it'll just pop right in there. So, you know, make sure that you got one of those thrust washers on either side. They're not like it's a universal, it's the same pattern on both sides. They got little divots so that the oil can ride in there. And they got divots on both sides. So yeah, put it together. Dunzo. Okay, put that back in. I'm gonna spray this real quick with some cleaner just to get some shmoo out, but yeah, she's good to go. Cool. 6-pinion, basically done. So here's something interesting. This whole assembly comes out. So this is like a bearing thing. It's got a snap ring on there. Ain't that cool? Never quite seen something like that before. Okay. Well, this is going to be a little more fun to install now. So we have to hold that and tap this in place. And just like that, it's all done. That's a fun game of tap till you die. Tap, 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 tap. It'll slowly go on. It's not like it's very tight, but it's tight enough you still need some kind of impact to drive it on. Anyway, if you do that, take your gargantuan clip and put it on there, and ta-da, she's done. So I guess we're going to clean up this seal. Did you say seal? Or? And we'll put that on there. Yay! So now both of our surfaces are clean, so we're ready for RTV. And look, you can actually see the oiler hole. So just make sure that that lines up with that, in case you forgot what bolt hole went where. Know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is put RTV on this face and push it on there. And obviously, you know, you want to make sure this hole doesn't get covered. We're just going to use good old black maximum strength. Maximum oil resistance, yeah. Some of that stuff, yes. Smear it on and use protection. And just like that, we're back where we started again. So everything is properly bolted down. Couldn't really find a torque spec, so I just snugged them until they're nice and tight. Guten tight? I think Guten tight. Now if you notice, I tried to go very light on the RTV. I smeared it all around with my fingers, so it was very balanced, but you can still see that there was some push out. Now the reason why you want to be light is because you don't want it to push out on the inside as well, because if these things you know, start to goop up and fall out, they clog up the filter and crap like that, and also the, you know, our oiler hole. Want to keep that nice and clean, so try to go as light as possible on the RTV. You don't need a ton. Okay, that part's done. Now we can flip it over and start putting it back together. Okay, so next up is the general shifting business. So we have our 4-low collar right here that has to sit inside of this this movie dinger. Important part is that properly sits and rides in that little guy, and then you'll take this and slide it on through. So this entire shaft goes through here and should index with a hole at the bottom, and it should all be in place if you did it right. So cool. Now that that's in there, now we can start focusing on this. So I gotta see what has to happen. Looks like everything comes out the back end. So we gotta take this C-clip out, and then we should be able to remove the whole assembly. Swap this gear and take our bronze dealio out, so we got room for the whole thing. Yeah, buddy, that's the ticket. Alright, look at that beautiful main shaft, huh? SYE. So that's the stack up right there. This is our chain gear. Then we got our brass ring, and then the that other thing. 4-high shifter. So that's everything right there. So now we will take this out and put our new one in along with that brass ring. Cool. Okay, so here's the new units side by side. The left one is our new one, right one is the used one. Now, I should use new loosely because they're probably used. But yeah, as you can tell, maybe, maybe not. They are slightly, you know, this one is slightly taller. Cool. But that height difference is the issue for losing this ring. It definitely goes on the other side, but whatever. That'll make up the height difference. At least it should. Let's find out. Maybe? Yeah? Something like that. Oh, you get the idea. Now, the astute amongst you will notice something. Roller bearings. So when we did the SYE, for older models, such as my case, the shaft was originally smaller and used needle bearings. And when you upgrade to this newer SYE shaft, this is bigger, and this is the bearing surface now. So you have to press the bearings out. So, time to put the press to work again. Alright, so we've got this 1 1/4 inch thing. I don't know if that's the outer diameter or the inner or what, but it's a pipe thing laying around and it fits the bill. Here's the setup. And the nice thing is, since I have the old one, I could see that it slides in and out freely. No friction. So yeah, you just press. And then when it bottoms out, hopefully the bottom one actually came out. Otherwise we'll have to use some spacers. Or these arbor plates. Okay, there you go, we're bottomed out. Alright. Do we have freedom? Not quite. Okay. Spacer time. Hey, we've got freedom! Old races, man. Super useful. all done. There you go. Ta-da! Like a magic trick. Okay, so there you go. Just slide it on there. Along with this guy. It's a tight fit, but that's what we want. Look at that. Hooray. Enough room to get our clip back in. That's all there is to it. Very cool, very cool. Okay. So I must be missing something. The bronze ring fits fine. I don't see an issue. We still have the clearance, and if you look, the way that the ring sits on there, it's flush. This part still spins, fits on there. Then this part comes in here, fits in there. So we got the room for the clip, it's the same size. And if I can hold this straight, the center, you know, spins. So, what am I missing? Or the instructions? I mean, again, it was just on the eBay description that would have to be left out. I don't see an issue with leaving it in though. All it does is take up, you know, space that is not filled by anything else. Huh. Bug it. We'll leave it in there. Okay, so next step is just to assemble it all. So you get the 4-low collar and the input gear thing, and then you have this outer collar and the outer ring. So there's a height difference. The thicker part should face on the bottom, and in case you forget that part, the reason is because the lower part needs to sit on top. Because this gear right here, this is the 4-high, you know, just the 4-wheel drive gear in general, and it needs to have this gap to spin freely of that collar. If you put it on the other way, it'll be stuck in 4-high all the time. So the low side sits on top so that can free spin in 2-wheel drive when this is on this nub over here. Okay, cool. So now that that's in there, we're gonna probably have to remove that to be able to put the chain on, because usually you have to put the whole assembly in together. But cool. Check it out, son. Let's put the chain on. She's good. Very nice. And just like that, it all slides together. Cool. Okay, so if you notice, the last chain has a little cover, so you can't just slide the chain on and off. It's locked into place, so you need to put the gear inside it so you can slide it all down in. So you pick this main shaft up a little bit so you can crank it over, and then you take this one and kind of get that one to sit, because when you can get that to slide, you can get that to slide. You just all up in there. Oh man, that's nice, dude. That is awesome. Obviously there's no tension, you know, holding these shafts, so it's a little hard to tell, but this chain is so much tighter than the old one. Holy crap. Dude, that's insane. That other one was just blah, 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 blah. Cool. Very cool. So, am I missing something, or are we done here? 'Cause I think we're done here. Brass rings in there and everything still works fine. My assumption is that the shaft is going to get pulled forward just a little bit with the snap rings and the yoke and all that crap, so you know, we'll be okay. Everything is good. Guess we put the cover on. Okay, so I always recommend doing a dry run just to make sure that everything you know, is doing what you're supposed to. All the surfaces that need to be sealed are clean, and everything fits the way they're supposed to, and most importantly, it spins when you're done without funny noises. Okay, so now that works, we're going to pull the case, and we're going to put some RTV on. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to show how this oil filter setup works. So, you can see we've got the filter, the index is in there, nice and clean. Got a rubber hose with a bend, and that comes into here to go to the pump. Now the pump sits on the outside of the case, so this is the hardest part, is trying to get this connected. But hey, you can do it right here while you still got room So make sure she's in there good, and then just lower it down that way. It's so much easier. Okay, and don't forget the magnet. I cleaned all the goop off, as much crap as I could. So now that that's degooped and demetallized, she's ready for action. Okay, we're gonna do a bead on the bottom. We're just gonna make it nice and light, nothing too thick. Did I mention thin? Because you want thin. So I just made sure to, you know, very lightly coat everything. Make sure to get around any important passageways. There you go. Alright. Final check. Everything good? Put her together. Alright, that's pretty much everything. Time to repeat. The only thing you gotta make sure is that these little tabs are indexed properly with the tabs cut out there. Shouldn't be a problem, because it wiggles around a little bit, so you should be able to fit fine. I noticed this chain is so tight, the case is actually, it lifts up a little bit like the cover. So hopefully bolting it down, I mean that's one of the outer supports, so yeah, definitely plenty of tension on that new chain. Pretty cool. Okay, tighten it up. Alright, there you go. So this is tight. You can see just how little squeezed out. That means we did good. Just the ittiest little bead. Beautiful. And yeah, once you crank down the bolts, it flattens out perfectly fine. Like I said, this is the end of the this is what supports the end of the shaft. So if the chain's real tight, it's going to get cocked over a little bit. So yeah, it pushes it right over. Anyway, you must be yoking me. We're at the final step. So there's a little rubber star washer in there. Just jam it in there. Put a little extra RTV in there if you like, just for better sealing. Then you run the nut down. I'll have to check what the appropriate torque spec is, but it's pretty high up there. I want to say anywhere from like 110 on the front to like 145 on the rear. I'll have to look. But yeah, she's on there good and tight. Little RTV and a big old impact, and yeah, I'd probably have to put it in vehicle to do the final torque, because trying to hold the case down and apply 150 is, yeah, good luck with that. You need a big old bar. But yeah, that about does it. Tighten the nuts and then put the speedometer gear in there and you're golden. You did it. Hooray. Alright, so there you go. Got her nuts hammered on. This little bastard right here, she's a good time. Nothing wrong with that. I don't know exactly what brand this is, or what version, but it does quite well. And the important part is, one, there's no side to side anymore. There's no lateral bouncing around or shaking or any crap like that. It's beautiful. Second off, notice I can twist this, and the output, you know, the rear shaft doesn't move. That means we did good. This is in two-wheel drive right now, and the fact that the front shaft can spin independent means that bronze bearing or bushing doesn't affect our setup. I don't know if that's something to do with the SYE or what, but it works fine for me. Excellent. Literally put the speedo sensor back in and we're done. You can bolt it back up. Friggin' sweet. Okay, so here's this business right here. I don't feel like cleaning this off to show you, but there are numbers on the outside of this to tell you where this needs to be clocked for what tooth gear you're using. Now, you know, since we're not changing this, we can just put it back the way it was. But the important part is that spinning this rear shaft spins the gear. As long as we got contact, we're good. As long as we got speedo. Okay. Put a little tabby on there. Put the bolt in. And call her good. We did it. Hooray! I'm gonna carry this monster out to the frickin' truck. Okay, so here is by far the sketchiest part, trying to put the damn thing back in. So you can try to strong arm it and pick it up and put it in there, but we've got a transmission jack. Now, the problem is This thing's rather unbalanced. Like it wants to fall off. That chain is like on the edge of falling off. And it also needs to be rotated quite a lot more towards our side for it to index properly. So this is going to be exciting. Yay. Okay, let's see if we can align it. And nighttime. Yeah, one of them videos. Okay, so placement on the jack is freaking crucial. This is attempt 3 or 4 now to try to get the fucker aligned. So issue the first is if the transfer case is leaning backwards to the point that it's, you know, behind the jack, you won't be able to get it on there because it was at an angle and like the corner kept hitting the fucking side of the case even though the rest of it was fine. I'm like, alright, fine. So we'll tilt it all the way over and we'll move it forward. Okay, great. Try to get it in position. Now it's hitting the exhaust. So, transfer case as far forward and as far to the passenger side as possible while trying to be at an angle, because you got to remember this thing's got to tweak quite a bit. So by having it lean back and kind of angulated, we don't have to move the fucking plate as much. What a pain in the dick. So we're going to see if this works now. Chain is very tightly secured because this thing wants to weeble wobble all over the place. Pro tip, shake the fucker. Shake it good. Tilt it forward and back and all that where the weight's going to transfer to see what happens. Because there was a few times I had it set up. I'm like, that's good. Tilt it and it just keeps going. I'm like, oh, okay. Time to try that one again. Ay, ay, ay. Pain in the ass. You know, honestly, now I'm just kind of salty. I thought I got everything good. You can see it's kind of cocked over a little bit. Dude, friggin' exhaust is still in the way. How the fuck is this possible? Like I can't move the case over anymore, really. So the only thing I can think of is what? Did the transmission and engine shift over to the passenger side? Because like I can't get the fucking angle I need. Like we got studs kind of starting to go on their hole, but I can't get a straight shot. Like the frickin' shaft isn't even like to the point of engaging yet. Just fucking free spinning in there. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if it's time for a big ass pry bar to try to move something over, or like the fuck is the problem, over? God damn, are you too good for your hole? Get the fuck in there. Also, weight shift, fucking chain came loose. Again, even after all that bullshit, it still came loose. I tightened it up again. Fucker ain't no joke, man. Jesus. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Oh, thank God. Okay, so step 1, I don't remember. Get really angry. That's usually step 1. Step 2, safety. Vice grip to hold the fucking thing on because it keeps loosening up. Step 3, something to assist being angry. Got a dead blow with this transfer case's fucking name on it. So I was able to wiggle the shit out of the back end and eventually start to get something reasonable. And, you know, interesting trick that sometimes works until you actually need it to work. Take a pry bar like this and you fucking start digging on the foot and that'll inch the jack forward. You can do that under the wheels too, so you can do it on this side. It helps inch the jack forward because trying to fucking wrestle with it doesn't really get you very far. So I finally got something that was kind of good. I was able to twist the output shaft and it actually aligned with the transmission. So then you just take this frickin' thing and beat the piss out of this. And it actually started to go on and thread. And I actually got that bottom nut on. So we are secured. Beautiful. Holy crap. What a pain in the ass. Okay. Well, now I guess we can try and put some other nuts on and, you know, see if we can get this the rest of the way. Hard part's done-ish. We got it mated. Now I just tighten it down and put everything back in. Yippee! Oh, motherfucker. So, nuts are tight. What a pain in the butt it is to get to these things, man. Especially this one. Remember we had such a fun time. There's that. Taking it out. Putting it back in. Dear Lord. I dropped the transmission and everything down as low as I could. But the pan started hitting the exhaust, so I couldn't really get any more traction. Luckily I was able to get one whole fucking click out of that gear wrench. Sitting there for like 10 minutes just flicking that thing back and forth. God, what a devil's nut. Anyway, time to finish this. So, I got that into there. 18 millimeters hold this. Pretty sure the pocket sticks out on the driver's side. So now fun part number 2 for my setup is putting this fucking cross member back in, because I couldn't be bothered to try to make the bolts come out, you know, through the bottom to make alignment a little easier. Now, we're going to fucking put the nuts on the top, and we're going to make it a fucking blind hole. So, yeah, have fun figuring that one out. Fuck. I'm telling you, man, recessed anything. Recessed nuts, recessed bolts. Even if the nuts were welded to this and you recess the bolts a little bit so you can frickin' run them in, anything is better than this bullshit, man. God, it's the only thing I don't like about this fucking cross member. These fucking things. These little carriage bolts. To go in through the bottom, you have to hold this, get that to sit on there, put a washer on there, put a nut. And, yeah, with my custom exhaust, clearance is fucking zilch, so that's another fun little episode there. Oh, just use a jack. Well, I shouldn't have to have 2 fucking jacks just to put a cross member on, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. Ugh, once we're done that, drive shaft's done. Okay, I don't remember where I last left off, but our cross member is installed, bolted in. Pro tip, transmission mount. Those studs are not very strong. It's like a grade 5 at the most. Real weak. Dude, this little itty-bitty fucking 3/8 inch DeWalt with an extension was able to snap that. Don't run them down super tight. Back to 3. Whatever. I was all excited because this is what happened to my old one. I snapped one of them. So I only had 3 bolts, and then I transferred them over to the new one. So I'm like, oh, I finally found the 4th nut. Gotta put it on, the fucker snaps. What else is new? Unlucky 13. Okay, drive shaft installed. So, nice thing about Atom shafts, they're 12.5/16. So you can use a gear wrench. A beautiful, beautiful gear wrench. One of these beautiful bastards. With the little boopy doopy on the end. Little click clack. Oh my god, that is a fucking lifesaver. That turns a 20-minute job into like a 5-minute job. Absolutely love that. That is super, super awesome. So yeah, rear shaft is in. Needle friggin' fittings, grease boys, where are they at? Somewhere over the rainbow. That's possibly one of them. And man, where you at? I think that's one of them right there. The flush mount grease fittings. The nice thing is when they install the U-joints, they put them on the same side, so you only have to get access to the one area, wherever the hell it's at. But anyway, yeah. Grease the shafts while they're out, because they're easier to get to. You know, until you actually need grease, because that's exactly when you freaking run out. Anyway, it's a good stopping point for tonight. All we got left is to put the front shaft in and put fluid in this thing. I think you can figure this out. Okay, so the last step is to put in some transmission fluid. So yes, the NP231 just takes regular ATF. So Dexmark, that's the good stuff. That is what the AW4 is supposed to use, is a Dexron blend. Don't use that ATF +4 crap, you'll ruin it. But yeah, these guys, you can get it like a part store, like $10. But apparently Castrol has a weird bottle cap design. Fucker don't fit. So that kind of blows. Okay, so it is possible. So obviously first off, make sure that your drain bolt is tight. Take the fill plug out and pump. The trick is, you know, for this, since the cap doesn't fit, I mean, you have to do this anyway, but you hold the bottle sideways and pump, and, you know, it'll work. I got this block here so that my arms don't die trying to keep the thing bent over. And obviously make sure the tube doesn't fall out. But you pump until it starts leaking out the fill, and then you're good. Turder, she's good to go. There you have it, folks. Tell you, upgrade your NP231 transfer case for 30% more beef and 50% more planets. Sweet. I think we're Moab ready. Oh, yeah. Did you grease your shafts today?
And there we have it. Transfer case installed and tested. So the only thing that I noticed, I took this out to Moab for a week just to see how well she do. And she did amazing. About the only thing that I did notice is in 4 low, you could kind of hear the planetary whine a little bit. But after like the 4th or 5th day, it seemed to get quieter. So, yeah, she's good. No complaints, dude. This thing is tight. I can do 75 on the highway with the front shaft in now. Oh my god, it is glorious. It's amazing what tight bearings and a rebuild will do. Yeah, no complaints. That is awesome. Now, let's hope I never have to touch it again. Goodbye.